Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another weekly market review for F45trading.com. This week we are discussing July 5th to July 9th. The summer months are upon us. We are definitely in the full swing, and hopefully you guys are enjoying your or enjoyed your weekend, I guess. If you're in North America, Canada had a holiday, and the U.S. had a holiday as well, too. Actually, it's a holiday today, technically, in the U.S. because the 4th of July fell on a Sunday, so everyone's taking the Monday off. Again, long weekends. So it's probably going to be fairly quiet today, and that's why there was no rush getting this video out. And I will just bring up the economic calendar so we can have a quick peek at this. As you can see, U.S. bank holiday today. OPEC has meetings all day today, so I would expect the price of crude oil to jump around a little bit. And then going into Tuesday, we have a rate statement for the Australian dollar, so be very careful about that. I would hold off doing any trading on Aussie until this settles down a little bit. And then we've got Euro news to finish up the day, and ISM services PMI numbers. So that should move the US dollar quite nicely. Wednesday, pretty much standard stuff until you get up to the FOMC meeting minutes. That could move the market, and it is later in the day, so watch for that as well too. We could have an extended range day on Wednesday. Unemployment claims on Thursday will definitely move the market for the US dollar. Crude oil inventory numbers coming out Thursday as well too. And then wrapping up the week on Friday, we have Governor Bailey speaking for the pound sterling and Canadian dollar unemployment rate. So and then we've got the oh, sorry, I missed this as well too. And we've also got G20 economic meetings as well too for Thursday and Friday. But I mean, unless there's some kind of a bombshell announcement, typically these G20 meetings don't do a whole lot of inject a whole lot of volatility into the markets, but definitely want to be mindful of those. So all in all, a fairly standard week. Not a whole lot of landmines that you have to worry about, except for Tuesday with the Australian dollar. But again, they're not predicting any rate changes for the moment, and I don't necessarily think that there's going to be any major rate statement changes for any of the currencies probably for the next little while anyway. Obviously, we all know that these central banks have been printing money like crazy, and with that comes inflation, and with inflation typically comes a rise in interest rates, and so that typically usually will change the direction one way or another of the of that respective country's currency. But I don't think we're going to see anything too soon. The Bank of Canada is hinting at a rate change here earlier. I believe they're looking at sometime this year. Probably won't happen until about fourth quarter. US dollar is, I mean, they have said multiple times that they won't even entertain a rate change until probably the end of 2022. However, I mean, the inflation numbers are steadily increasing down there as well too, and so I can't imagine that they're going to leave it that long. And across the pond, everybody else is, you know, in Europe and everything up there is at zero interest rates right now as well too. So do they? And it's been that way for a very long time. So do they raise interest rates all of a sudden? You know, I don't know. I think they're going to hold fast for a little while yet, but. At any rate, getting into the markets quick. So we've got US dollar, because it's a holiday, we're pretty much seeing this thing go sideways now. My target last week and well, the last couple of weeks actually has been the 92.80. We had that spike up into on Friday, and price just fell short about 4 pips. If you can see the bottom right hand corner of my screen, low comes in at well, it's this box right here, but low comes in at 92. Excuse me, not the low. The high comes in at 92.75. So I was just a little shy of the high of the week, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we had all of the pairs that I called to hit levels. They all hit their levels respectively very, very nicely. So hopefully had a great week last week. And that 92.08, or excuse me, 92.80 level, technically, I think is, well, we had what we wanted to see, basically, is what I'm trying to drive at. And so I'm going to put a check mark there. Now, going forward, we still get this little area down here at 91.40. We are stagnating a little bit here. Again, there's nothing major in the news, I think, that's going to shift market sentiment too much. So we should continue to see this run higher. But we did hit a major area up in here, so there's definitely cause for this thing to pull back a little bit. So what I would do is I would watch the 91.85 level to see if we want to come back down into there, and then see sort of what happens when we get back down into this consolidation level down here, where we spent about a week going sideways. If we slip below that 91.80, then I think there's a good chance that the 91.40 level could potentially get retraded back into. So watch for that, but watch this level right here. That's going to be the one that's going to tell you where we're going to head from there. Okay, so if we don't want to go back down through there significantly, and what I'm saying is we could definitely wick down there. You could see a long extended wick for sure, but the body on the daily, I'm on the daily chart right now, I don't want to see that close below 91.85. If it does, then I think we're going to be back down here at 91.40, and possibly, if it wants to continue run all the way back down here and rebalance at this back to this consolidation level. That's a little bit far out from where we're currently at right now, so I'm not going to worry about anything down here. Worry about this right now. I want to see if we do come back down, if we get a bounce, if any. If we do get a bounce, then I'd be looking to see if they want to try to drive this high one more time, maybe even get up above this high there. Don't know if that's a possibility, but that's something we've had a very, very nice drive higher so far. And if we take a retracement on this as well too, that 79% retracement level got tagged up very, very nicely. So to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what the likelihood of another drive higher is. Again, the dollar has not increased its interest rate by any stretch of the imagination. So there's really no cause for this thing to go higher yet. If anything, this thing should still be continuing to go lower. And this just being a retracement off of this drive down here, and then ultimately we should see another run lower, but we'll see what we get here this week. Okay, so watch this level. I am expecting a little bit of a pullback, and then we'll see kind of where things drive from there. The EurUsd, this looks very, very heavy to me. So I mean, as nice of a bullish run we had here, EurUsd looked very, very heavy. And you can see, so we had this as a target last week for them to run these lows. We got that with stunning fashion, and 118 even was my target on the week. Just fell short. 118.06, you can see there was the low, so I was off by about 6 pips on EurUsd on the daily low of last week. But nonetheless, we had that run, so that's all I was looking for, so we can check that off of our list. Probably not going to see big range days today because we do have a market holiday in the dollar, so all of the pairs that are tied to the US dollar are probably going to be fairly slow today, so keep that in mind. If we lose the daily low, or I should say the open, I guess, on Friday of this pair, then we're probably going to make another shot lower and get deeper into the consolidation area, and maybe even try for this low here. But again, very similar to the dollar, we could see, I'd like to see a punch back higher, but if we're going to go above 119, if I can get this level dialed in, if we go back above 119.25, and that's basically just a return back to this consolidation area, very similar to what I said on the dollar. If we go higher than that and we close higher on the daily, then I think there's a chance that we're going to probably run this high here and maybe close this range back up in here and get back up into this range there. So watch this level on EurUsd. I wouldn't be opposed, though, to see it doing something like this if we did shoot back up into here and then possibly make another run and maybe make that low down here. if it wanted to really start dropping. So watch for that. But you know, here's the thing, folks, you know, and I've been saying this now for the past couple of weeks, we are in summer trading, so it is very likely that we get absolutely no momentum going anywhere, okay, and price just goes sideways. Okay, so if you are going to trade, do not force trades. Be very patient and just wait. Pick your moments, pick your opportunities, and I wouldn't suggest going in for 400 or 500 pip ranges. I would keep them short at maybe 40 or 50 pip ranges, and get in and out. So GbpUsd, so again, had that big drive down on Friday. I was actually hoping this area would have got ran out, and they're still electing to hold off on dropping down into the 136.65 level. We did have this run out, and that was one of my targets for last week. So price smashed down there very, very nicely. And Friday went straight back the opposite way, and now we're starting to give back a little bit of this range that we dropped down into. I'm still looking for them to come down into this, even more so than Euro. You know, Euro, we have obviously a nice set of lows over here and some relatively equal lows there. But GBP, I mean, these things are so close to where we're at. It's not very far away. It's only about 180 pips, and really, GbpUsd could do this in one day if it wanted to. I've seen obviously very, very large ranges, 200 plus pip ranges on GbpUsd, and so it's it could easily smash down there. I'm still thinking they're going to come down in here, just the way that this looks like it's rolling over. You know, do we continue all the way back down here? I don't know, but this would be my target going forward. So just depending on what the dollar does, they could elect to go sideways this week and not really do a whole bunch, or maybe retrace back up again. If we start losing this high, it's going to be a little bit less likely that they want to do it in the foreseeable future, and they could come back up into here and really spend a lot of time up in here for the next couple of months. But if, you know, just depending on how Monday closes and this week shapes up, if let's say we start putting a high of the week in on Tuesday and we don't want to go back above these levels in here, so as long as GbpUsd, I think, stays below 139.40, then I think there's a, I think there's a chance that it could possibly take another peek at those lows. This is the one main, I mean, again, EurUsd, we took out a nice low here. We could certainly keep driving lower than there, but I like the odds that GbpUsd is going to run these lows more than I like the odds that Euro is going to run those lows. So I guess if that makes sense to you, but I'm going to watch this level here. I am expecting a little retracement. Do we get all the way back up into there? You know, it's about 100 pips away. Could certainly do that throughout the course of Monday and maybe into Tuesday London Open. But I want to see if they want to cap the range up into this region up here and then roll over one more time, or if we drive through that and close above. If we close above on a daily, then I'm not as convinced we're going to see these lows anytime this week. Okay. Australian dollar, we do have a rate announcement, so I'm going to hold off anything until we see what happens there. We did consolidate in here for a very extended period, drop down out of that, and then we did take that low that I was looking for. That was my target, and I got very, very close on the low. So my low that I was looking at was 74.40. The low on Friday came in at 74.44, so it was off by about 4 pips. Again, can't get them all exactly, but I was very, very close. So same thing, I'd be looking for them to drive up into this range into here. On Aussie, the 75.60 level, I think, is probably going to get hit. They'll probably hit that tomorrow on the interest rate decision. $1 million question is, do we start driving up through this area here? So I'll be watching for that. I'm not going to make any calls on Aussie until after that rate statement, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. And finally, on Forex, UsCad really had a deep sell-off day on Friday. 135 pips, which, you know, you typically don't get those big of ranges on UsCad, so they were really interested in sinking that. Nonetheless, my target was hit very, very nicely. I wanted to see 124.40 on the week last week, and we got that very handsomely. So mission accomplished there. And big sell-off. We're now right back into this previous consolidation down in here where we spent about a better part of a week. And so far, price is holding off, wanting to go any lower. However, we're going to definitely hit some major resistance up into this range into here. So UsCad so far isn't really doing anything in here that I could say is going to be probable one way or another. You know, if we drive higher up into here, or if we try to swing below these lows here, I would just suggest that you guys watch US dollar, and that's going to give you a better barometer for what UsCad is going to do. And again, this guy is probably going to jump around a little bit this week because we have had OPEC doing some crazy stuff here last week. I'm going to jump over to crude oil here quickly. OPEC came down last week and we hit my low of 72. That was the entry level that I was watching while price was up into here for the 2 weeks ago. We dropped down, we hit that perfectly. The low on that came in at 71.95, so we swept it by about 5 ticks. Very nice to see, and then price did exactly what I wanted it to do and shot higher. I'm still looking for the 76.88 to 77 even level. I think there's a very good chance we could get there this week. What do we do from here, though? Again, there is OPEC meetings coming up today, excuse me, and so I think there's a very good likelihood that we could possibly see another shot down, maybe the 74.05 level. You know, we're not too far away from it now, so really anything's possible on this market, and they are a little bit jittery, so just be careful, be cautious with oil. I'm predicting higher prices, which is, I think, pretty much everybody across the globe is predicting higher prices, but obviously you know, there's a little bit of discontent among the ranks in the major oil producing countries that comprise OPEC, and so you got to be very cautious on that. You know, some of them want a well, the mandate was to start increasing supply to start bringing the price of crude oil down and catching up with the overall world demand, because everything's starting to open up again across the globe from the COVID closures, and so that's starting to be a draw on supplies, which is why price is obviously shooting higher like this. Now, a couple of the member countries in OPEC are saying, no, we're not increasing production. We like prices nice and high. We're going to continue to jam this thing higher, which is why some economists are starting to say, well, we could see $100 oil. I'm not that optimistic on oil yet. We'd have to get through some major levels, this being one of them. And keep in mind, $100 barrel is way up here, so we are nowhere near that for right now. But look at this very impressive run from next to nothing. Well, technically nothing. We hit negative numbers, not on this chart, but negative numbers in the futures contracts on crude oil. And this run here has just been pretty stellar over the past year and a few months. So I'm anticipating continuation to the upside. I want to see them run this high here. When we run that high there, then I'm not going to be as bullish on crude oil. I think we could possibly just sort of jam sideways between 65 and 75 for the next foreseeable future. But, you know, we'll wait and see there. Again, I'm still looking to see them shoot higher. My target this week is on 76.88 to 77 even on crude oil. And finally brings me to gold. Gold, I had this target of 1800 on the daily chart getting tagged. We almost got it last week. I was actually hoping that we would have ran up into here first and then dropped, but we obviously had the drop first and then it came back up, and it really rallied Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week. Really rallied. Well, the US dollar didn't really want any of that. We basically did the exact opposite. US dollar and gold did the same thing last week. We were running, both pairs were running higher, which typically you don't get. So there's definitely a little bit of uncorrelated price action between those two markets. So I'll definitely caution you on that. But I want to see what happens when we get up to this 1800 level. I'm expecting a reaction because I am looking at these two lower lows down here. We have had this big slide off down here as well too. So was it just a run back down, you know, into this overall consolidation area in here? and then it's going to be a rejection and a punch higher, or is this 1800 level going to offer some kind of resistance to the upside and then another potential round of selling to get below this 1680 level that I've been had on the charts for so long here. That's what the $1,000,000 question is, literally, and so I'm waiting to see. So wait and see if we punch up into here this week, and if we do we run higher or do we reject? That's what I'm watching. So I'm not going to call anything until we see this level, but this level will get hit. We're not very far away from that right now. So anyway, I'm going to wrap that up now. This has already been too long. Sorry for the kind of long-winded comments there. It is summer trading, and you guys should be taking it easy the next 2 months, because price typically doesn't want to do a whole lot of activity except go sideways and drive you crazy until September. So keep that in mind, and I hope you guys are enjoying your summer so far. Myself, I am taking off on vacation as well too today. I'm out for about a week, so I will catch up to you guys all next week as always. And for my members, of course, I will see you in the chat room, and we'll be back going to regular sessions again starting this evening. So thanks all for watching. I appreciate your time, and as always, please make sure you like, comment, and share out this video for me. I would really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week. Take care.